I'm seeing lots of familiar names too. Welcome, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started so we can stay on our schedule. I want to welcome everyone to this afternoon's webinar, Special Needs Programming at Your Library. My name is Charlie Taylor. I'm one of the continuing education consultants here at KDLA, and I'll just be facilitating the webinar today, so just hide in the background. I'm just doing a little housekeeping, and then we'll get started. So I've sort of explained this to everybody so far. I'm sorry if you're hearing it again. I just want to make sure everybody is really familiar with how to use the chat. We like our sessions to be interactive. If you're not seeing the chat, in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, there should be a little button with purple arrows, a purple button with arrows on it. Just click on that to open the panel, and you'll see a chat bubble there at the very bottom. Just click that chat bubble, and you can type in a message to everybody. So our presenter, Earl, is going to take questions at the end of today's session. So if you'd like to type them in, that's fine. I'll keep track of them until we get done, or if you'd just like to hold them until the end, either way is fine. He may end up, answering your question at some point during the session. So we will hold questions until the end. If you have any technical issues, please feel free to use the chat for that, and I'll be here monitoring it, and we'll do my best to help you out. At the end of the webinar, I'll be putting a link in the chat where you can get a full-size version of these slides that you can keep and refer back to later. And this webinar is being recorded, and it'll be posted on our archive webinars page within about a week's time, hopefully sooner than that. But I think that's it. Just want to introduce our speaker for today. His name is Earl Willis, Jr. He is the Special Needs Liaison at the Warren County Public Library. And so, Earl, I'm going to mute my microphone and turn it over to you now.
Okay. Hello, everybody. This is something I'm really excited about, and I've been looking forward to. I hope everybody can hear me well. And today we're going to talk about something that I'm very passionate about, and I'm very proud of. And the name of the programming is the program we're going to talk about today is Special Needs Programming at the Library. And my name is Earl Willis Jr. I'm a library assistant, and I'm a special needs liaison at the Warren County Public Library. And so I thought this slide pretty well sums my program up. Is I wanted to show you, instead of talking in abstract things, I wanted to show you these people's faces, and they're people's brothers and sisters, and people care about them, and a lot of times we just think about it books, but we're people. So, and this is the people I deal with, and they all have a name and a face, and so I'm going to try to do my best to be an advocate for them today. We're going to go ahead and move to the first slide. Special needs liaisons at the public library. Why would a special needs liaison be needed at the library? Well, I would first say, why not? And second of all, I would say, not everyone fits in a nice peg or neat peg. Some people need more help than others, and a lot of times people are born different colors, different creeds, whatever, so we can't help the way we're born sometimes. So we're advocate for people. So that's my job, is to be an advocate for people sometimes that don't have a voice. And so that's my job as a special needs liaison, is number one, you're an advocate. You're an advocate for people that sometimes don't have a voice for themselves. So my first point would be to be an advocate for special needs patrons who visit the library. So it doesn't matter if you're from Louisville or you're from New York City. If you come to the Warren County Library, then I'm an advocate. If you're a special needs patron, then I'm your advocate. I'm going to do my best to be an advocate for you and make sure that everything's a level playing field for you. And also, the next point is the things I do is help educate staff on the needs of special needs patrons. And so a lot of times uh, we all have different areas of emphasis and things that we're good at. And so one of the things that I've become uh, more educated on and through experiences and stuff is people in the special needs community. And so I've done training. I've presented at the KPLA conference. I've worked at different special needs expos. In fact, I'm going to be at the Special Needs Expo end of this month in Bowling Green. So my is to educate people in the community, but the staff. A lot of times the staff might not. I feel uncomfortable around a special needs person, or they're acting different. So I'm at a small branch, and I'm at the smallest branch in this Warren County. So, but I always make it sure that I tell people, all my coworkers, all managers, everybody, if there's a problem in any of the buildings with somebody with special needs, or if there's an issue, call me, text me, whatever you can do, and we'll clear it up. So even though I'm at a different branch, I'm at a smaller branch now, I can still help people. So we need to have, and we enlighten, educate people and our coworkers how to better serve special needs patrons. Also, we want to do things that are legal, and so there's a lot of ADA ramifications for making sure that people with special needs have all the assets they need. So there is a lot of ADA law that's involved in special needs, helping special needs patrons and making sure they get the treatment they deserve. And so another one of my points is I want to make is I go into the community and bring the library to special needs patrons. And so if I not only am I helping people who come to the library, I'm going out in the community. And sometimes we know as people who are special needs, sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes they might not be able to drive, or they might be dependent on somebody else for a ride or transportation. So a lot of times I've went to one of the places I go now is the adult active daycare in Bowling Green. And I go there for a visit and a story time. And I've went to other places in Bowling Green. And so, and like also the Special Needs Expo, I go there. And so I go into the community too, and I'm an advocate and let them know that I'm here to help them out. And also, I have programming and another thing that I do is I make sure I have programming for people with special needs. So a lot of times, this is, unfortunately, the special needs community a lot of times gets left behind in the programming at libraries. And so that's my job to make sure that doesn't happen, and everybody gets a fair shake of things, and everybody gets to have their programming deserved. So this right here is, like I said, this is a picture that that was taken at one of my the adult activity hours, and my title says it all: meeting a need in the community. So this is geared for adults with special needs, autism spectrum disabilities, and for 18 and up. And a lot of times there's things for smaller children, but it wasn't not a whole lot for people that just got out of high school or just got out of or in college, or maybe in this picture there's people maybe in their mid 20s, and then there's people in their early 50s, or I've had people even like maybe late 50s. So this is a meeting the need in the community, and you can see that everybody this is a big group. I usually have about 25 people, and everybody's smiling in this picture, and they're just kind of hanging out. So I wanted to kind of show you what one of my groups look like. Uh, so us as librarians, we meet the need of the community. And so why did I have special needs story the activity hour? Well, first and foremost, I said I was asked by family and caretakers for a program for special needs. I would go up to people and I give them a card, and I was asked over and over by parents and caretakers, and the same question was always, do you have any programming? Do you have any activities? And I kept on saying, no, I don't. And so I was like, this is not acceptable to me. I need to do something like this. And so I asked uh, if I can have programming for special needs program. I said, there's a need here that's not being met, and we need to take care of this. And so that's the beginning of the program. And I want to make sure it's called the adult activity hour. It's not a story time. And so everybody was like, what do we call this? What do we say about this? What is it going to be called? And all of a sudden it just kind of popped in my head. I said, adult activity hour. Because it's not a story, it's not just a story time. We're just not reading stories. Story kind of sounds childish. We do read stories. We do poetry. We do a lot of different things, but it's an activity hour. We're learning, we're doing things, and we're practicing our social skills. So it's not a story time. And I don't want to say a story time because that seems kind of to me seems like kind of demeaning to me that you're having adults in a story time. So this is an adult activity hour. What do we do in this adult activity hour? Well, we read poetry and we read about a subject for that month. And so what I usually do, I had read some things about some poems by Shel Silverstone, and we all know that he's got some kind of goofy poems that rhyme, and everybody laughed, and I read those, and people liked them and they laughed. And so we read poetry. Shel Silverstein was kind of my go-to person for a while. And then I happened to have someone that was in the theater, and he was an older gentleman, and he was retired, and he's a storyteller. So I would get poems and stories, and he would do all kinds of voices and act things out, and they just loved him, and he was really good at that. But the other thing we do is, like, if we were having our adult activity hour this month, I would do it on St. Patrick's Day or spring or whatever, and maybe in April we do it on spring, or we do it on Easter, or we have some fun time. And then we're learning about nonfiction things. About one time I read about a couple of the paragraphs out of the Declaration of Independence, and about it's all kinds of different things that you learn. So we're learning too. It's poetry. We're learning. There's learning going on. There's a nonfiction subject, and it usually has to do with that month. And so usually I won't have to talk about Christmas in July. I'll usually talk about 4th of July, Independence. So my main thing is I have a poetry reading, and then I have a subject, a nonfiction part of that month. And then at the end of the program, I think this is everybody's favorite. At the end of the program, we do a craft about the subject we learned. And so I think you'll see in the one of the slides that in May I did a activity hour about, well, it's Kentucky, so we did it about the Kentucky Derby. And so we read about the Kentucky Derby and how long they've been running the Kentucky Derby, how it lasts. And then we just kind of made a little craft, little bitty, cute little horses. And this is the part where, they're caretakers and maybe their parents or whatever. And we all sit at tables and we just kind of hang out, and everybody walks around and helps each other out, and they talk and they network. And a lot of times there's maybe somebody from life skills or different people, and they know each other, and they're just it's kind of a club. We just hang out, we talk. Everybody's, maybe they're cutting up, or or people come and they're in maybe a activity place during the day, and their friends. And so this is just kind of a easygoing time that we all hang out and we're just having fun and we're making a craft. And so we said, and that's my next point is we get to socialize and just hang out in our club. So it's a club. I was interviewed on a channel news channel in a Bowling Green about a year and a half ago, and I said, and I just described it, it's a club. We just have everybody needs their club, and everybody, like I said, we all meet and we talk and people network and we I'm not telling how many times I've heard people say, well, do you want to go with me to eat, or do you want to go with me to eat? And you got 4 or 5 people going out to eat together, and they just look forward to it, and they're just smiling and happy, and they real love it. And so we usually have about 25 patrons that show up for that adult activity hour. And so I have had up to over 40 people. And so as far as I know, in the library system, last year or two, when I was doing this program, it was the highest attended program of anything, of any of the programs. This adult activity hour was the highest attended program. So if you have it, they'll come. It's hard work. You have to, make contact and remind people and email people and ask them if they want to come. But if you have something that there's a need there, people will show up. So one thing I was asked about by Miss Taylor is she wanted me to cover is special needs programming during COVID-19. And so this is something that we've all become, this is almost a year that we've been doing COVID. And so I haven't had an adult activity hour in over a year. That's February. And so and sometimes some of our special needs people have underlying conditions. They may have a heart condition. They might have all kinds of underlying conditions, or even if they don't have a condition, we want everybody to be safe. And so there's still a need, even though we have COVID. There's still a need there. And one of the things that a lot of people are doing is, and I'm not any different, is we're offering Zoom interactions for our patrons. And so we're not having an adult activity hour right now, but anybody in the community that wants to have me to read a story and kind of talk with them, and I do that. And so right now there's at least 2 or 3 places every month that I contact them, and we talk and we read for at least 25, 30 minutes. One of them is Barren River area adult daycare in Bowling Green. Another one is the Hive. The Hive is a very good resource for people in the Warren County area for people who are getting out of high school or adults with special needs. And so I work with them a lot. So these are the 2 people right now that I'm working with. But I just make sure that we still are serving them. But also, I say in the Zoom interactions, at the end of the reading, I ask them what they want to read. So I don't tell them what they want. I ask them. I'll ask them what do you want to read next month, and I'll hear a bunch of different things. And the person in charge of the room said, well, I think Earl will want to read about Easter. I said, okay, we'll read about Easter. And so I let people pick what they want to read. And so that's for the Zoom. Usually and then also at the end of the program, they can talk about what's on their mind. And so I know with the Hive, we read a story, and then the floor is open for like, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes. And I'm just like, all right, everybody, what's going on? And we got everything going on. It snowed, or this one's doing this and this one's doing that. Everybody's just talking, and I just let them talk. And so They just want to have some social. People just want to be social, and they want to talk, and they want to. And I want to ask them how everything's going. And you ask when you care about somebody, you show them. You ask them how they're going. How's this going? And during Christmas time, how's your Christmas? You're gonna have a big Christmas. So we just at the end of the program, I just say, all right, what's on your mind? And you want to talk about things, and usually there's a moderator, whoever's in charge of Zoom on the other end, they kind of the moderator. But I just let them talk about things. I make sure, and this is during COVID. This is really important. I make sure I check with the special needs contacts and see how they're doing. And so, I haven't seen a lot of these people for a year. And so, how would it be if I've got this relationship with these people, and they see me and I say I care about them, and then for a year they don't hear from me. Well, that's not any good. So if I act like I care about people, I need to show it. I show people I care through actions, not words. And so I check on people with my contacts. I say, how is everybody doing? I'll send an email. How's everybody doing? Are you okay? Is there anything I need to know? And so I keep contact with people. That would be weird for I had a special needs program for a year, and then disappeared for a year. Then all of a sudden I said, oh, all right, it's this special needs program again. So I wanted to make sure that I keep in contact with people, and everybody wants to, and that also has got to do with my last sentence here. It says, make sure you have a familiar face and routine of the old way of doing things. And so that's what we all want during COVID. We want a familiar face and a routine. And so if I can do that, I mean, especially with people with special needs, they need a routine, and they want to bank on things, and it's a routine, it's set in stone, and this is how it is. And so be a routine. So now they know at the Hive or other places, about the middle of the month that they're going to see me. We're going to have a story, and so it's just have a familiar face and a routine to go with it. And so this is one of my favorite pictures. This is our story time. This is the craft. And this is our Kentucky Derby craft that I was telling you about. And so this is my buddy Lucas. He's from the Hive. You can see his Hive shirt. This is my buddy Lucas. He's wearing his Hive shirt, and this is his his friend, his caretaker that drives him around and helps him out in the community. And that's Miss Glenda. Her name is Miss Glenda. And so I can't tell you how important this is. They like doing this. I mean, it's fun, and I mean, they tease each other, and they cut up, and they really enjoy it. I didn't want to just have blank words. I wanted to have pictures, and so people can have see pictures. So people will see a picture's worth 1,000 words. And so I wanted you to see this. That, like I said, these are people's brothers and sisters and aunts and uncles, and so I wanted to put a picture with the program. And so this is one of the pictures I took. Okay, so this is really special too. So we have field trips too. So this was taken probably September of 2019. And so I've worked really hard with the people in the community, and the people in the community of Bowling Green have been really supportive of the special needs activity hour. And so, things get boring sometimes with just having, reading stories, and so I wanted to break things up and kind of, shake things up a little bit. So we have field trips. We don't go to Disneyland, or we don't drive anywhere, but we have a different scenery. And so you can see that I talked to someone, EMT from the medical center in Bowling Green, and she drove the ambulance, and everybody got to sit in the ambulance, and they got to go in the ambulance, and the lady that was EMT, she sat there and she talked and answered every question they asked for 45 minutes, and they couldn't have been happier. It was a field trip. I wanted to shake things up. So we've also had other field trips. We've also had I've had the Bowling Green Police Department. I had their person who represents them in the community. I had a police officer for the Bowling Green Police Department. He came, and they got to see his squad car, and they got his patrol car, and they got to put the siren on, and they got to put the lights on, and they asked him, and he spent at least 45 or 50 minutes and answered all their questions. And so they just were really tickled about that. And there was a program, I think it was some sort of a STEM program that the library had, or STEM program about 2 summers ago, and it was just a room of interacting, like huge Legos and things that you can touch, and sand and science and stuff. And so we had a field trip there, and we had like over 40 people in that room. We had over 40 people for that attendance. And even as big as Bowling Green is, Warren County is one of the biggest counties in Kentucky, and you don't see programs that even at this library that has 40 or over 40 people. That was a really big program, and so everybody just really enjoyed that. It was interacting, but these are hands-on things. Asking the EMT, and we want people in the special needs community to not to be afraid of a policeman, or not to be afraid of the ambulance. And it's not always something that they need to be afraid of. And also we want the people in the community to see the people in the special needs community are the average everyday people that just want to be a part of society. And so I thought the field trips were really special. And like I said, every picture I see, you see people smiling. I could have just did a whole presentation on pictures, but I decided I wanted to have some words. So I hope this picture really says 1,000 words. One of the things that I wanted to talk about is dealing with people with special needs. I hope in having this webinar that I hope everyone that here, I see like 34, 35 people, I hope you go back to your workplace, and I hope you talk to your supervisor or your manager or your director and say, you know what, we need to have special needs programming at our library. We need to have a special needs liaison at our library. We don't need for people with special needs to come in the library and just, well, if they come in, we'll just handle it then, or we'll just treat them like everybody else. Well, they're not like everybody else. That's why it's called special needs. And so I know I see some people from smaller places, and I see people from Louisville. I know even the smaller places needs special needs programming and a special needs liaison, but especially bigger places like Bowling Green and Louisville and Lexington and Frankfort, the bigger communities, they really, really have a need for special needs program and someone to be an advocate of the special needs program. And I wanted to add, to be an advocate for a special needs person, to be the advocate at your workplace, it helps to maybe have somebody that you care about or in your family that has special needs, because it makes it personal. And we all know that we're human and we make things more personal. We give it our all sometimes when that's the case. And so if you are looking for somebody with special needs, maybe if you know somebody in your family, you have a friend with special needs, maybe you would have that certain compassion for someone. And also, you would need to maybe know the laws and ramifications of the ADA laws, and so that's really important too. But I wanted this to say that everyone wants to belong and feel accepted, and so I mean that's that's pretty obvious. Everyone wants to belong and be accepted, and so like I said, these are people's aunts, uncles, brothers, and sisters, and how would we feel if that was our family member or our friend? And so we treat people how we want to be treated. So that's pretty common. That's one of my things that core values is everyone wants to belong and feel accepted, and so you treat people how you want to be treated, and you accept them. And that doesn't mean I'm the first one. If someone is a special needs patron and they're having a meltdown or they're not behaving, well, they need to calm down or maybe go outside and get some be with them. That's different. And when I say accept accept someone, that doesn't mean accept their bad behavior. It means accept that if somebody has autism, maybe they have a tick, and they say, I like dinosaurs, and they kind of make a dinosaur sound. We don't ask them to leave the library because they're making dinosaur sounds. I mean, if something can't help, then that's something they can't help, and we need to. That's why you need somebody to be their advocate. So everybody wants to belong and feel accepted. And a lot of times you have these people that are special needs, and they don't have a huge social life. Some of them might, but some of them might not have us. I mean, some of them might go out in the community a whole lot, but some of them might not. And this is the only place that they might have. You might look up social stories. What are social stories? They might practice a social story, and the way they practice it is they come to the library and they practice what they learn. And so this is a place where they feel accepted. If they go to the mall or go to the store, there might be somebody rude there. They might get smart with them or might stare at them. But the library is a safe place where they feel accepted and they get to practice the social skills. And I've had people come up to the front desk with special needs, and their caretaker's like, go ahead, ask them. We've practiced this before. Go ahead, you know what to say. You can do it. And so the practice and the social skills will come into the library. Another is just compassion and understanding, and just having a heart for other people and understanding. And I don't really know other than say just having compassion on people. How would we want to be? How would we want if that was our son or our daughter or somebody we cared about? How would we want them to be treated? And that goes a long way. And to me, first and foremost, the library is a special place. I've been in the library system one way or the other for over 18 years. And so no matter where you go, Walmart, Kroger, whatever, the library is a special place. This is where it's a place to learn, and it's people who work here are supposed to be accepting of people with different disabilities. And and speaking of disabilities, a lot of times you might have someone who's not necessarily in a wheelchair or doesn't look quote quote like they have special needs. But that's why we are accepting. A lot of times someone with special needs, they're adult, and they might say, I've had people that had special needs, and they cut in line, the checkout line, or they just interrupt somebody. And my coworkers are like, they're so rude. I light them up. I'm gonna kick them out of the library. I'm like, all right, let's think this through now. If it was, we don't want to do that. Now, if they are being rude, if they were a somebody with not special needs, then yeah. But if you have someone that is in a different world, maybe or intellect ability, uh, then we have compassion. They're not doing to make it. I mean, they're not doing it. I've seen people where they thought that somebody with special needs was just being rude. They weren't being rude. They were doing the best they can with what they were born with. And so if they cut in line, that doesn't mean it's right. It doesn't. But you also don't scold them or write them up. Or if they, maybe they yell out in public or something, we don't go over and kick them out of the building. We just, we've all seen people in the library that were just mean or rude or nasty. But there's a judgment call to be made. Are they rude or mean or nasty, or maybe they are doing the best what they're born with, and maybe they have maybe they are doing the best they can. And so I don't know if I ever explained that well or not, but hopefully I did. But that kind of brings me to the closing, and I want to stress that if you have any questions or any comments, I I beg you, please, please, to email me, uh, or because I'm not one of these type of people that you're going to email and you never see email from me. That's one of my worst pet peeves is when you email somebody and they ignore you. I'll promise you, I will not ignore you. I'm very good about emailing. Please email me. And my email is earlw@warrenpl.org. And there's three branches of the Warren County Public Library. The main branch is in Bowling Green, and that's the number there. The Bob Kirby branch is near the Greenwood High School on Scottsville Road in Bowling Green. And the branch that I work at, and that's why I say where I work, the branch is Smith Grove. It's a little small branch. And if you want to talk to me personally, this is the number you call. And that's the 270-563-6651. That's the Smith Grove branch. This is where I work. And so just leave a message if I'm not there and just say that you want to speak to Earl Willis about special needs. And I'll call you back within 30 minutes or an hour, at least an hour. I will do my best to help you out. And I really hope that maybe that everyone that will go back and there'll be special need programming and every one of your libraries, and everyone has a special need liaison, and you're more in tune to people with special needs. And I guess that's it. I guess I'll turn it over to Miss Taylor now.
Hey, thank you, Earl. I almost called you Warren. Looking at Warren there. Thank you, Earl. We're going to
Sure.
go ahead and take questions for Earl now. So if you'd like to chat those in, just as a reminder, if you haven't opened your chat yet, you just click that purple arrow in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen to expand the panel, and click the chat bubble there at the bottom and chat those in. And while people are doing that, I'm curious, Earl, you say you've been working there at the library for 18 years. You haven't been um, the special needs person the whole time. So how did you get to that position?
Well, it was a point where uh, I guess things were realized that we needed to address the special needs programming. And so it was just, I guess, kind of destiny, if you want to say that. I don't know. It just kind of worked that way. That it was just, I guess, a lot of people sometimes you just come around. I don't know. So, I am now.
It was meant to be.
Yeah, it's meant to me, I guess.
We do have some questions coming in, and I saw somebody with the hand raised. I can't remember who that was. Let me look. But if you have a question, just use the chat, please. But Terry's got some questions. Did you get special training to work with the special needs folks?
Well, I've done a lot of research and studying, and I've been around special needs education for a long time. And I also have a sister that works. She's a licensed psychologist, and she works with kids with autism. So that's
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. And she has another question. Do you recruit staff members to help out with these programs too?
Well, I usually do the programming myself. Uh, I usually, yeah, I mean, not saying you can't, but I kind of like to say, well, we're going to do this here, and we're going to do this there, and so I guess I usually don't recruit people. I think a lot of times I kind of see it as my project, and I guess I kind of see a way of thinking about things. So I'm not saying you can't. If anybody wants to, I mean, a lot of times there's things to cut out and there's chairs to put up. Nobody doesn't want to do that, but I usually, it's kind of to me, it's kind of a solo mission for me.
Awesome. We got a lot of questions coming in. This is great. If there are no adult daycares in your area, where would you find special needs patrons? Where would you reach out to?
Where would I reach out to? Well, I would mainly if I'm in a smaller town, I would just go to maybe ask a bigger town. But and I would maybe put it on your Facebook. You can put it. I guess every library has a Facebook. You can put it on your social media. Uh, Social media is really good. In my personal life, I don't exist in social media. I don't, but I know it does make contacts. I would, uh, like, smaller places where I live at in Russellville, uh, in Logan County. They're smaller, they're a bigger county, but not as big as Warren County. They can maybe ask, just spread I just guess sometimes if you do good things, things work out. I've seen that you just kind of advertise on special on the website and just brainstorm and yeah, a lot of things just kind of happen if you're doing good things. It just kind of falls in place. I don't know if that answered your question. Not.
Yeah, people will find out about it if it's good. How do you see your programs changing as things open back up after COVID?
I I think I'm going to have to work extra harder because it's like starting over again.
Yep,
Because I think all library programs are going to have to work harder because if you don't do something for a year, you get out of the habit. So I think I'm really going to have to work harder and make contacts and remind people. And some people might not feel comfortable yet. To be around people, but I'm gonna have to work harder. I'm gonna have to work harder and build things back up because if you don't do something for a year, people get out of the habit. So I'm gonna have to make sure I work my way back up and don't rest on things.
absolutely. Where do you get your ideas for your programming?
Well, I a lot of times I'll just see something on television or I'll just what is like what I do is what is the month and I'll just think about things. But we know as librarians you can only think about so many ideas, and then you finally go to how many times have you seen the uh, the board at fall that says "Fall for a good book"? I mean, everybody uses that, but sometimes you just have to go with the old faithfuls: Christmas, Halloween, Thanksgiving, St. Patrick's Day, Halloween, and then. But maybe when you run out of things, maybe I say, well, what subject would everybody like? I want superheroes. I want ponies. I want basketball. Then you can maybe that's when you turn it into them. Ask them what they want. So that I think that's how I would handle that. That you've got good things that you just go by, and then you've got to say, well, what does everybody want? What about superheroes? Oh, I love Incredible Hulk. Okay, we're gonna read about Incredible Hulk next time. So yeah, it's just you kind of ask them what they want too.
Absolutely. Um, let's see, do you require caregivers to stay during the program?
Well, I guess that's up to. the individual whoever, but I think you'd have to check with your director or your manager. I think that's different. The different brand. I wouldn't want to be too general, but most of these people are 18 or older. So, but they usually, but usually the caretaker always. I've never seen one time the caretaker just leaves them and just walks off. But I guess that would be like an individual thing where you'd have to talk to your manager at your library.
Okay, our next one's kind of a comment. Jeannie says, "Thank you, Earl. Great points. I can tell you're really passionate. I coordinated a special needs program at Louisville in 2019 for adults with special needs. We had an after-hours program just for them with all sorts of fun and engaging activities and had about 100 people attend. I'm hoping to have this on an annual basis post-COVID, but I love the idea of starting a monthly program like you've done."
Well, that goes back to where I said if you have it, they'll come. 100 people. I mean, when's the last time you heard of a library program with 100 people? So if you ask, it'll come. And so I really I appreciate you doing that, and you really setting a good example. So I really appreciate that.
Let's see, we have a couple of comments. Okay, and I think you might have, Deborah, if he didn't answer your question about the caregiver already, let me know. But it kind of sounds like he did. How do you handle programs or crafts when people's skill levels are so different?
Well, that's one of the reasons why it's the caregivers there, and it's not really if they finish it. I mean, a lot of times, what does it mean to finish something? If somebody wants to not put a hat on the snowman, then I don't really. It's not really if you finish your craft. It's just you work on it, and then you have but everybody goes around and helps everybody else. But to me, it's not really about if they finish the craft or they do a good job. It's they're trying and they're having fun. I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, and if there's anybody who wants a little more detail or any other questions, go ahead and chat those in. I'm going to put some links in our chat while we're waiting on any more questions to come in. The one I just put in there to the Google Drive is the full-size version of today's slides. I'm also going to put in a link to the survey about today's training. And we take those surveys very seriously, so appreciate your responses. Let me just wrap up here real quick. We thank the Institute of Museum and Library Services for their sponsorship of this webinar and many of our KDLA services. And we're like Warren County, we're on social media too, won't be left out. Find us on Twitter and Facebook. And this webinar, like many of our others, can be found on our archived webinars page. And let's see, anything I'm forgetting? It was recorded. I'll try to have it up within about a week's time. Please share it. A lot of the time, these webinar recordings get pushed out to other staff or managers as, well, I really want to do this, and here's what they talked about. They can see it for themselves. So please feel free to share it with anybody you think would be interested in it. And those of you who are attending live, you will be getting a certificate out to you for attendance. And Earl, I just want to say thank you so much for your time doing this for us. The feedback here in the chat is great. Everybody is really happy with what you're doing, and I just want to say congratulations on a hugely successful program, and your hard work is paying off. So
I appreciate you asking me, and I was asked eventually first before COVID, and then I thought we weren't going to have it, and then somebody asked me, and I was well, good, I'm finally going to get to do this, so uh, I'm really blessed to be able to talk to you today, and
that's right.
I hope you can put to use.
Yeah, I forgot we were planning. That's right. We were planning to do this in 2020, and then COVID happened, but we finally got around to it, and I hope it's coming at a good time for everybody, and y'all can take this and put it to work. And thank you all so much for attending, and thank you once again, Earl. Everybody have a great afternoon, and good luck in your programming. And
I appreciate it.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. And whenever you're ready, you just need to X out of your browser window.
Okay.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Earl.
All right. Thank you.